Thank you, Professor Kaustav. Thank you, IIT Mandi, for inviting me to talk. It's rather unusual to receive an invitation for a colloquium talk on a topic like this. This topic was suggested by you, and I readily agreed. This topic, Spirituality at Work, is the title of a book I wrote some 9 years ago. A book which is a textbook for the course Integral Karma Yoga. It's a book which tries to convey the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. In a place like IIT, it's not easy to start courses like this, because IITs are meant to be scientific institutions, and if we have to introduce such courses, they have to be presented from a somewhat scientific perspective. Otherwise, we get into this problem of so-called pseudoscience. This course has been widely attended. Every year, we have about 150 students from all departments, faculty, foreign students, students from all religions and even non-believers, because we try to project here an understanding of spirituality which is universal, timeless, and intuitively easy to relate to. To get it approved by the academic board in IIT, the simple argument was this is not outside the curriculum, because the very motto of IIT Madras is inscribed here. It's a line from the Bhagavad Gita which says, Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja. Perfection in work comes from a spiritual approach. If you notice, most of the early IITs had mottos like this, borrowed from the Bhagavad Gita. So in that spirit, let us begin. I will begin by asking a question that I normally ask many audiences. We'll begin simple. What do we really want in life, at work? All of us, but specifically you. So if some students can answer, anybody can answer, go ahead. All answers are correct. There are no right answers. There are no wrong answers, sorry. Yes? Don't be shy. Speak. What do we want in life? Peace, okay. Satisfaction. I've asked hundreds of audiences, okay, so I'm familiar with these answers. Tell me more. Peace, satisfaction. You want to not want anything. See, don't say should and all that. I'm asking a simple question. Don't complicate it. What the hell do you want? Don't say I should not want. No. You want. We all want. What do you want? Yes? Happiness, very good. Fun, okay? You're not mentioning the one thing you all want, which is why you go for placement interviews and tell it, yeah. There's nothing to be shy about. Money. Okay, money. Nothing wrong. Anything else? Good health, very true. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy, you're in trouble. Perfect. Anything else? Sorry? I can't hear. Can someone? Stability. That's very, in structural engineering, that's the number one thing you should have. Okay, stability. Now, these are very common answers. Okay? But the answers reveal something about us. It reveals that we don't have, right now, we don't have peace, we don't have satisfaction, we don't have happiness, we don't have money, we don't have success, we don't have stability, and whatever else. Because if you have something, let's say I want a blazer, it doesn't make sense because you've already got it. So you will always talk of things that you don't. So it's very revealing. Now, usually people don't mention peace unless they're very old. But I've noticed that young people have also started saying they want peace, which is true. We want peace because our life is a complete mess at some time. We are messed up. We find ourselves like Arjuna in his Vishada Yoga. And today morning, to the students of civil engineering, I mentioned that that's not a good time to ask these questions. And I quoted Kabir, Dukh mein sumiran sab kare, Sukh mein kare na koi. Jo sukh mein sumiran kare, to dukh kahe ko. It's a very powerful and meaningful verse. But unfortunately, we ask these questions precisely at the time when we are in dire straits. We badly need motivation, we badly need help. It could be in our work or it could be in our relationships. Broadly, these are the two areas. But all the answers that you gave can be summed up with one simple answer, which is happiness. Right? So you want money because you think money will make you happy. You want success because it will make you happy. You want stability because it will make you happy. So it's a fairly simple and generic answer. But the fact is, we are in this spectrum, shown the rainbow colors, wide spectrum which moves from extreme despair to extreme fulfillment. And what we call success is somewhere in the middle. What is the difference between success and fulfillment? Again, open question. Yes? Success is usually defined by society. You got through JEE, people will congratulate you because they all know it's tough to get in and you've done a great thing, you're successful. Fulfillment is something personal, something internal. Others may not be able to see it. And we are rating fulfillment superior to success here. In my view, vast majority of people have not tasted this part in a stable way. We are all familiar with this realm. And it's today morning's talk also was on fulfillment in civilization. You also know that most people have not really lived fulfilled life. So how do we do this? What's the secret? Let's look at that. Now, one of the reasons which the Bhagavad Gita emphasizes, because we live ruled by our lower nature. We live ego-centered lives. If you just look at our thoughts, mind is restless, but most of the thoughts are centered about me, my family, my promotion, what will I get, and comparisons with others. We are kind of stuck in this realm from morning till night, almost till the day we die. We live in a beautiful campus here. When we came here first, we enjoyed looking at the hills, but after some time we pass by, we don't see. In IIT we have deer. Everybody enjoys watching them and they take photographs and they send it to their families. Nowadays you have social media. Everybody says, wow, what a campus. But after some time you stop seeing everything. We don't somehow seem to enjoy what we have. We always yearn for what we don't have. And this can be terrible, especially in relationships, marriages. Up to the honeymoon, 1 year after marriage also it's fine. Afterwards, it's challenging. Then, this way of living, which is spiritual living, is something which we can call soul-centered living. And unless you see people actually living these lives, you won't even believe such a possibility is there. So our real problem in the world is we don't have enough exemplars. We have not seen actual people living in very authentic ways, not necessarily following the rat race, doing what everybody else says is important. This potential exists in all of us. How do we uncover it? That is the real topic. Thoreau, the American poet, thinker, who was a great follower of the Bhagavad Gita, by the way, he made this simple statement which is often quoted. The mass of men, those days it was all patriarchal, today we'll say men and women, lead lives of quiet desperation. Lovely words. That means we are on the desperation side, but it's not visible to others. It's all inside, back here. If it was true in those days, 100 years back, it's even more true today. So let's look at what modern science has to say, what doctors have to say, what psychologists have to say. So I've drawn a graph because we are all mostly scientists and engineers here. It's a very telling graph. On the x-axis, I'm writing about performance. Here, you are at the peak of your performance. Absolutely fantastic, creative work you're doing. You are enjoying yourself. Here, it's frustrating. Everything goes wrong and you're not getting, your work is not succeeding. You're not getting the recognition you want. So this can spread mathematically from minus infinity to plus infinity. Very simple way to understand. On the y-axis, I'm talking about energy, the time when we are supposed to actually do work. Okay, the waking hours. I don't know what the timings here are, but in IIT Madras, it's 8 to 5. You're supposed to work there, and most people actually work much longer than that, and they work also on Saturdays. Sundays, normally we don't work. But even on Sundays, you're thinking about some usually academic related work. So let's put it this is working hours. This is when you are supposed to take rest, supposed to relax. And there is something inside us which is called the autonomic nervous system, which is inbuilt, which can be balanced or it can be unbalanced. It is supposed to be switched on, so the term used is sympathetic. Sympathetic means switched on. Switched on, and if you're on this side, balanced. Here, it's kind of switched off. You're relaxed. You're not expected to do any work. But you are expected to find the thing that you said is missing in your life. Peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You can relax and you can enjoy. This is becoming very difficult. So, people who are operating like this are able to switch on when required and switch off when required and be totally relaxed. This relaxation they actually bring into their lives here. But most people are on this side. During the waking time, they are over-sympathetic, over-stressed, hyperactive. We all belong to that category, more and more. And when we try to go home and relax, we can't relax. We are restless, not able to sleep, worried, concerned. We are like computers whose hard disk is overloaded. And there are programs constantly working in the back and we don't even know what are those programs. We've not been able to clean the hard disk. And they drag us down. And in a crisis like Arjuna faced, when it really matters, the system will hang. What are some examples of this? So here, obvious thing is you feel good, positive emotion, and here you feel bad, so-called negative emotion. Here you feel exhilarated, feel passionate, feel joyful, you feel love. Love not just in relationship to people or plants and animals, but love even for the work that you're doing. That's a deeper meaning of love. There is care in whatever you do. Take a glass of water, you will take it slowly, carefully, you will sip it carefully. And there is kindness towards people. To have kindness, you must have patience, you must look at people. But we are only thinking about ourselves, you cannot look at people. The one thing most people want is to be looked at, to be heard, to be given attention to, because we also want that. It's a very scarce commodity. It's a spiritual commodity, because you can do that only when you're free from your own despair. Then there is a tremendous sense of harmony and appreciation for beauty every day. Same thing which you neglect, you see a beauty every day, a vitality, a life. And that's what gives you fulfillment. It is linked to Satyam Shivam Sundaram. See, Sundaram is a quality which can elevate you like anything, which can inspire you. Sheer beauty. But on this side, it's pretty bad. You feel regularly frustrated, angry, hostile, fearful, worried, anxious, guilty, overwhelmed, resentful, and you're always judging everybody left, right, and center. You may be commenting also, but you may be even keeping quiet. But inside you're judging. This fellow is like that fellow is like that. This fellow believes in this ideology, all stupid fellow. And they're all wrong. I'm right. We all do this, by the way. In the course in self-awareness, the task is to recognize that you're doing it when you're doing it, which is not easy. Arjuna, in the battlefield, says, Sidanti mama gatrani. So my legs are shaking. See, he's explaining everything that's happening to his body. Powerful self-awareness. The mind is spinning. I cannot think clearly. But even when we can't think clearly, we make decisions and shout at people, realizing we are being very stupid. Now, to know that you don't know and to know that you're being stupid needs a quality which is in the language of the Gita and which is a sattvic quality. So I want to introduce that famous mantra, Asato ma satkamay. It has a deep meaning which is covered in the Gita, Asat and Sat, but let's just understand it as Asat stands for Asatyam, not the ultimate truth, changing, and Sat stands for Satyam. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamas belongs to everything in the red sector, but basically darkness. And that's one meaning. And Jyoti is enlightenment, light. Mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Now, Mrityu is death, but it's anything in this realm of despair. Okay? The question, in fact, we had a discussion in the morning. I asked a student, not in the morning, yesterday actually. I said, why is it difficult to do things honestly? He said, we all want to be honest, but when the other person is flourishing by being dishonest, we feel bad, and so that's why we also become dishonest. Correct answer, I'm not saying. Then I asked, what do you mean by flourishing? Sir, honesty comes at a cost. I said, in my view, all that you say is completely ulta, completely wrong. Dishonesty is the cost. And what you say flourishing to me is naitik patan. So from this evolutionary angle, instead of going from asat to sat, tamas to jyoti, and mrityu to amritam, you are going in the reverse direction. How can you call that flourishing? Now, our problem is we don't see this. Theoretically, somewhere we say, maybe theek hai bhai. But we don't actually see it as a living reality. This is our tragedy. You may have PhDs, you may be from IITs, but we are just as stupid as everybody else. We live lives of quiet desperation despite our intellectual, so-called intellectual capability. Now, in case you are not self-aware, the doctors say, we'll take a blood sample and we can show that your cortisol level is high, your stress hormone is high. All this can be done. But we know we are not feeling good. We are feeling bad. And it's not a healthy feeling, and we have to come out of it. If you don't come out of it, you get into despair. And you can do damage to yourself, your family, everybody. Now, when you go home, you can't get peace. You can't sleep. You become restless. You can't jump from red to green. Padafat. So, you feel hopeless, you feel despair, you feel depressed, burnt out, fatigued, withdrawn, boredom, apathy. Apathy means you want to shut the door and tell everyone to go to hell. We've all experienced this now and then. It's all right to taste it, but to live here for a long time is very dangerous, very unhealthy, very dysfunctional. We all know that. On this side, look at the opposite. You have inner peace. There may be total chaos outside. Kurukshetra battlefield is chaotic, but andar mein inner peace which no one can take away. The word in the Gita is Nitya Tripta Nirashrayaha. Nitya Tripta means always feeling contentment. Nirashraya, you feel that contentment because it's coming from within. It is not dependent on how people behave and what happens. What is education if we don't learn this? There is equanimity. A lot of emphasis in the Gita on this. I'll show you. There is acceptance. You accept people just as they are. Don't begin by saying, "Arey yaar, useless fellow, why are you like this?" People are the way they are because of various circumstances that have to be dealt with.